So a year ago, when I met Anne at the FFU Live, I had been through a year of really just saving my business. I had transitioned my business from consultancy into coaching and training business, and had not anticipated how difficult it was going to be to do marketing and sales, which I had never done before. I had a business that for 7 years had basically two clients. And so in the year prior to meeting Anne, I had really saved my business from pretty much going bankrupt, and had had to own the fact that I had accumulated about 700,000 rands worth in debt, which I was hugely shameful about. And was really challenged to own that I had done that. Anyway, I managed to work my way through that year, and at the end of the year, I met Anne, and it was a real godsend to have this somebody who could kind of show me my way through how to build the wealth that I knew I wanted to, but had really no idea how to do it. Prior to going almost bankrupt, I had R1 million in savings, and over 2 years I had lost all of that and gone into 700,000 rand worth of debt. So when I started with Anne, I had a lot of self-judgment on my sense of failure, and how I had how I had irresponsibly used my money. And I also had absolutely no idea what to do with money when I did get it, other than to spend it. So had a much higher value on spending money than on actually building wealth. And then through the course of the year with Anne, well, even just starting at FFU, one of the insights that I got while we were still there and we had to write our money story was around how I associated wealth with pain. When my dad died when I was 10, my mom obviously inherited a bunch of money because of the life insurance. And so at that moment, I associated wealth with pain. And then again later, when I had a really wealthy boyfriend who was severely depressed and ultimately committed suicide, I again made the association that wealth equals pain. And so what kind of happened in my own journey, as soon as I did build wealth prior to my business going under, it's almost like I had to create a way to lose it and to create this sense of pain, because that was so embedded in my story. So what I really appreciate about Anne and her approach is that it's the technical and the mindset stuff, because I know 100% that you can have all the technical information, but unless you have the mindset sorted, then you're going to constantly trip yourself up. So I guess this year for me has been really about building my foundation, which has been a lot around how to really build a business that works. And that's been a major progress for me in terms of being able to build an online business now, with a product to sell and a business case associated with that and the financials associated with that actually really can work, and starting to see that work. I also got a chance to kind of play with a lot of different ideas that I have wanted to explore around property investments, but never really had an understanding of how on earth I was going to do that, because I didn't have any capital. So that was a huge piece for me, was being able to realize that you could actually create those kinds of investments around property without having to have startup capital. And in fact, that would be a better strategy. So I've been able to really wrap my head around the property business that I would like to create, and how I can structure it with my husband, because we would both like to do that, but it's actually more of a freedom business for him. So that's another part that we were able through this process to kind of sort out, was get rid of the limiting beliefs that it wasn't possible for us to do this property business, and also through that for him to be able to see that it actually was possible for him to be able to do it and kind of take ownership for that part of our financial success. So that has been a great piece, that we've now, both of us, have an idea of what our longer term financial income stream would be. And then also just being able to figure out your financial freedom number and being able to do those calculations and have spreadsheets that I can play with and adjust, and, just actually having the technical ability to be able to do these things, where before it would be like interest, I don't know how to do that, and then it would just be a block, and then I couldn't get going on that. That's been amazing, really being able to see a longer term strategy and putting in place the technical pieces that are needed to be able to build both financial freedom for myself and for my husband. I guess another part of what I've managed to really own is how much of a focus that I've had on my want to always spend money instead of invest money. And that partly might have to do with not really knowing how to invest it. We're much better equipped at spending it than we are at actually investing it. So I spent a lot of time at looking at what the investment strategies are. The property business is one part, but also just setting up all my exchange traded funds, which before this year I would have had absolutely no idea how to do, would have been completely terrified and intimidated by it, didn't understand any of the language, and can't believe that in 1 year I now have investments in the stock market in a way, and moved all of my retirement annuities across, and feel really comfortable with that part of my investment strategy. So that for me is really exciting. And I think one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had personally from a mindset perspective was breaking through my idea of I'm not good enough. When I was born, it was anticipated that I was going to be a boy, just assumed that I was going to be a boy. And so I was shorn until I was born. And at the moment of my birth, my dad was hugely disappointed that I was a woman and not a man. And so my story has actually been a lot around I'm not good enough, literally from the moment that I was born. Interestingly, how it played out through the year was my not wanting to look at and do my monthly spreadsheets and calculate my net worth, because it would be like a moment of judgment about whether I am good enough, and it was always, it's going to confirm that I'm not good enough. Or my belief was so strong that I'm not good enough that I guess I would almost set it up like that, unachievable goals, and then, the judgment that comes with not achieving them would then prove that I'm not good enough. That was a major piece of mindset work that has really shifted with me, and I no longer have the fear of, or the sense of judgment around looking at my numbers every month and actually setting more realistic targets that I can achieve. Still stretched, but not to a degree that I was never going to be able to achieve them. And then finally, I've also managed in this year to get rid of all of my debt, which has been amazing. And so I think that's quite a lot of achievements in 1 year. And I really look forward to this coming year where I can continue to apply it, what I've learned, and just start to see the shifts actually manifesting in my bank account and in my investment account.